I just purchased a VK168.01P using the trade-in program. I paid 6,000 gold. It was a great deal. I'm going to show you how I equip it. Usually the first thing I do is go to the exterior. I really enjoy putting camo on and things like that. So let's see what we got here. First, we're going to go to preset styles, and we're going to see if there's anything that I have here that I've earned. For example, I have this Prime Festivity that I could use. And I've got this other one that's called Sparkling Night. I don't think I'm going to use the Sparkling Night. And I believe that the Prime Festivities is going to be the same for all of those options. I'm not convinced that I want to use that. So we're going to go over here and I'm going to check the regular camo. I really don't like the German camo. You only have to do the hull. You don't have to do the gun. And you notice I have a lot in my depot. I have 33. Okay, so I'm just going to go with regular camo for this particular tank. And the other camouflage I will use, obviously, on another tank. So we've got 47 rounds. I'm going to cut that in half, which is going to be 24. Oh, it's actually 25. That's really weird. 47 divided by 2 is 25. So I'm going to put 25 rounds for my AP rounds and 25 rounds for my HE. And I don't play with APCR rounds or gold rounds. I'm going to use a small repair kit, a large repair kit, and I'm going to use a large first aid kit. If I get caught on fire, then I will stop using it. But because this is a super heavy tank, it will probably never catch on fire. In terms of equipment, ventilation is something that people commonly use. But the problem with ventilation is it increases all of your stats a little bit. But look at this, vertical stabilizer increases one stat by 20%. You don't get that kind of an improvement using ventilation. So you might want to consider some of the other options. For example, the super heavy spall liner gives you additional protection from explosions, which means it will save some of your hit points, which means it will keep you in the game longer. And you're going to get hit by artillery often. So it's not going to matter with ramming because this is a rammer. It doesn't matter with crew injuries. Doesn't matter to me with stun duration. I don't care about stuff like that. But in terms of HE, you're not going to get penetrated by HE anyway. So it really doesn't make sense to use the super heavy spall liner, which is why I don't use it. Vertical stabilizer, you see over here where it says aim time and it says 2.59. 2.59 is a little high. A good number is 2, a great number is like 1.5. So 2.59 is a little high, which means you're going to want something like this to stabilize that gun. You're going to move into position, it's going to aim, and then you move out of position. In that case, it's going to help. The large caliber tank gun rammer, I would definitely like to have that. The enhanced gun laying drive would be good. I like to play with coated optics. So there's 4 things that I really want, and I've only got slots for 3. The issue that I have is that I only own the coated optics, and I really don't want to spend money right now because the what is it called? The black market might be coming out soon. So I'm going to go with coated optics. I only put it in my second position. I usually play closer to the enemy than my allies do, so I need coated optics. And in terms of my crew, I'm going to hit accelerate crew training. The other 2 items, I'm going to wait until there's a discount. We just had a discount a few days ago. I'm going to go over here. You see I have 178 tanks. I'm going to do heavy tanks, and I'm going to do Germany. These are all of my tanks. I am going to go to send everybody into the barracks. I do love playing the Maushan, so I liked playing the VK Tier 8 regular tank that comes before the Maushan. I was really disappointed when I had to level it up. So They're fun tanks, at least for someone like me with my high latency. The Tiger 131, this is definitely a tank that I would sell. I would definitely turn this in as a trade-in. E75, I don't think I've played yet. So here's the VK. Sometimes I put in my best crew and sometimes I put in my worst crew. And the reason why I put the worst crew in is because you get more benefit from crew EXP when you put in your worst crew. ABT, he's probably a zero skilled BIA because I use someone at the beginning of the alphabet, Abbott, Adams, ABT, Antonov. That's probably what he is. That's how I know the difference. He's got 44%. He's a good pick. Definitely, if I were to do it over again, I would only put the zero skilled BIA in my premium tanks. So we've got three guys we can choose from. It's again, we got the ABT. He's got low skill. I'm going to put him in. He's probably a zero skilled BIA player. I went through all of my crew and renamed them. Here's another one, Hans ABT. I renamed all the zero skilled BIA crew members so that I can identify them. Okay, so now I am going to choose Arnulf Lutjens. Actually, he's a radio operator. Let's skip him, as I will explain later. We have a 5-skill crew, a 4-skill crew, a 3-skill crew, and a 4-skill crew. So let's do this 3-skill crew. They're all coming from the same tank, which is the tier. It was the tier 9 VK. That implies that this was the last super heavy tank, that the most recent one that I purchased, so he's got the worst crew. Okay, so now we've got a choice between a Maushan and the E75. I'm going to go with the E75. I periodically, like once a month, go through and redo my crew. So if he levels up past that Maushan, I'll be able to replace him. Now the radio operator, I don't know which radio operator I use. So I'm going to look at my tank destroyers, because I think it's a tank destroyer radio operator. Here he is right here. See this guy? I'm going to send him to the barracks. And I'm going to put him over here. We're going to go back to the VK. And we're going to look for that radio operator. He's right here, Bert Kagenek. And he has 5 skills at the 75%. And I know you're going to say he's red, he's not fully trained. It doesn't matter. I use one radio operator on all of my tanks per tech tree. And the reason why is because the loss for signal range, it's minus 60. It's not that bad. When you look at his radio range, 710, it's going to go down to 650. He still has good radio range. I've never had a problem where his radio range wasn't good enough. But the reason why it's a good idea is because I get all of these crew skills on every one of my tanks that uses a radio operator. So that's why I chose him. And because everybody's playing the same radio operator, he's leveling up faster. And eventually, I'm going to add the signal boosting, which is going to compensate for the fact that he's got that minus 60. It's going to level out. And I'll be able to add the call for vengeance. I'll probably add call for vengeance before I do the signal boosting. And eventually, I'll be able to do the relaying. Okay, now in terms of directives, I use directives in frontline because you get to respawn, which means you get more of a bonus, you get to do repairs, etc. I would say that because you're shooting long distance, I would go for the aim tuning and the vent purge, maybe the orderly ammo rack, and for, you know what, I made a mistake, didn't I? I will get to that. I made a mistake. I'm going to probably use these that you pay cash for. And I would say that smooth ride is when you are driving. In that case. Snapshot is a different story. That's for turning. which this is more likely to do. So I would say that that is the cruise skill that I would use. Now we're going to come back to the coated optics. I am only going to play this tank in frontline mode. So you don't really need coated optics because with so many allies, you might not need it. What you need is you need the V-stab and the gun laying drive. But the other issue is I fire a lot of HE rounds. And because I fire a lot of HE rounds, and this has got a 2.7 burst radius, which is really cool, because I fire a lot of HE rounds, you don't need to aim as well with HE rounds. You don't have to get that fine-tune accuracy. So I'm going to keep it as it is. And when I have a chance to save money on those items, I will purchase them. Okay, so that's how I configure it. Please feel free to post in the comments how I configure everything wrong. Okay, if you have any questions or comments, please post below.